Hello again. Over the years, I've heard superb practitioners of traditional Chinese martial arts making statements that possibly sound like nonsense to you. Don't use force, use E. Don't use muscle, use energy. Don't use strength, use Qi. It's not that what they mean to say is wrong. It's that how they choose to say it in English sounds odd, given that English is often their second language. But such statements can give the impression that Chinese martial arts are esoteric nonsense, especially when they're parroted by charlatans who lack any real skill. A simple movement, like lifting a weight, starts with my intent to achieve that result. Without intent, I can have no action, and therefore no result. Intent is both an objective that I set in my mind and the trigger to achieve that objective. Objective without trigger is not really intent, it's mere desire. The Chinese term for this is Yi. But, as I said before, I prefer to avoid Chinese terms that can be explained easily in English. So let's stick with intent. My intent to lift the weight triggers a nerve impulse that travels along the motor neurons of the muscles that need to do the work. That nerve impulse causes the muscle cells to burn adenosine triphosphate, ATP, to release the energy needed to start muscle contraction. Cells store enough ATP for about 3 seconds of contraction. So once the contraction begins, the cells start making more ATP as fast as they can. If the cells run out of the ingredients to make ATP or cannot make it fast enough, our muscles stop contracting. And we experience this as diminishing stamina. Stage 1. The cells burn the ATP they already store, which gives about 3 seconds of contraction. Stage 2. The cells use whatever oxygen and creatine phosphate they currently store to make more ATP, which gives about another 8 seconds of contraction. Stage 3. Until the circulatory system provides the cells with more oxygen, they then make ATP from glycogen without oxygen, a slow process which gives about another 90 seconds of contraction. This produces lactic acid as a byproduct, which is what causes your muscles to ache if you train beyond your body's capacity to oxygenate itself. Stage 4. Within about 2 minutes of starting contractions, the cells are replenished with oxygen and they can make more ATP from glucose. At this stage, your stamina depends on how efficiently you can replenish your cells with oxygen and how much glucose your body has in store. This is analogous to firing a gun. Intent. I decide to fire the gun and I squeeze the trigger, which causes the nose of the hammer to strike the primer. Chemical reaction. The shock of the strike ignites the primer, which ignites the powder in the cartridge, producing energy by reacting chemically with oxygen. Force. The energy propels the bullet forward. I've said before that, in my opinion, Qi should not be interpreted as anything more mysterious than breath, or at the cellular level, oxygen. The central purpose of practicing Qigong is to habitually enrich ourselves with oxygen. That makes the cells healthier and increases the ability of muscle cells to generate energy. The term Jin basically means strength. Traditional Chinese martial arts refer to various types of Jin, such as Ding Jin, Hua Jin, Cun Jin, and so on. But there's nothing esoteric about those terms. They simply refer to different ways of using strength, such as the strength you use to stand upright, or to redirect an opponent's force, or to deliver force from a short distance. My intent to lift this weight triggers the generation of energy using oxygen, which allows the muscle contraction that gives me strength. In other words, E drives Qi to produce Jin. So on the one hand, the terms E, Qi, and Jin should not be mocked by people who don't understand them. Nor should capable Chinese practitioners be mocked for using those terms when they try to explain natural phenomena in a language that's foreign to them. On the other hand, I feel that non-Chinese teachers should be able to explain these concepts to their students in their own language. And if they do not, because they cannot, do they really understand those concepts? Here again are those examples of statements I've heard Chinese teachers make. I must emphasize that the teachers I'm talking about are excellent practitioners of traditional Chinese martial arts. Don't use force, use E. Don't use muscle, use energy. Don't use strength, use Qi. I get what those Chinese instructors are trying to say. Brute force is no good to you, especially if you lack intent. But force is nothing more than strength exerted upon an object. I use the term brute force to refer to force that's generated in the chest, shoulders, and arms, rather than force generated in the core. The latter type of force is what's also referred to as internal strength. If you want to extend your spine to improve your posture, you're using force. If you want to redirect a punch, you're using force. If you want to push, throw, strike, or in any way affect your opponent, you're using force. In Chinese martial arts, saying don't use force, or don't use muscle, or don't use strength is like saying don't use Jin. Moving or striking something involves kinetic energy. We are biological beings. Without muscle, we cannot convert chemical energy into kinetic energy. So no matter how soft or internal your martial art, when you move yourself or your opponent, you are using muscle. We use muscle and strength to stand upright. We use muscle and strength to breathe. I'm using muscle and strength right now just to speak to you. Of course, we should be using strength and energy economically. When I want to pass this weight from one hand to another, I don't do it like this. I do it using the minimum strength I need and no more. It doesn't matter whether you're redirecting, grabbing, pulling, pushing, throwing, strangling, locking, or striking your opponent. You're using your muscles. You're using strength. you're using force. Words matter in this and in almost everything in life. If teachers are imprecise in the words they use, we end up with an imperfect understanding of what they're trying to impart. If we as practitioners are vague and careless with the language we're using in our heads as we puzzle our way through a new technique or concept, the likelihood is that we'll end up with, at best, something that does not work optimally, or at worst, something that is doing physical damage to us every time we perform it. Words matter, so it's up to us not to just blindly accept what we see and hear, but also to think it through and, if possible, to contribute in some small way to the body of martial art knowledge that's out there. Thanks for watching.